Tanse. So, tanse, oki, bonjour, hello everybody. Nice to see everyone. Well, sort of. I am back after a little bit of a break. The holidays were beautiful. It was nice to spend time with the family and with a bunch of friends, to be able to cook for a bunch of people. But it was just really nice to be able to just wind down. I realized I'm just kind of one of those people who just keeps going and going and going. And then when I stop, my body's like, "Whoa, what's happening?" And so my voice has kind of been a little funky down since just after Christmas. But it's probably just a case of I hadn't been using it every day like I normally do, because usually I'm in school singing for like 6 to 8 hours a day. So now I'm starting to get that practice that muscle again. But I'm just really thankful and humbled to be back. I'm really grateful for the new year ahead. There's so much promise. And it's oh, all right. Apparently I'm reconnecting and unconnecting and disconnecting, and I've been having some technical issues, so if I start cutting in and out, that is why. Good times. But from wherever you are, just welcoming yourself to the land and to really honor where we are. And to really give thanks for the people that have been here before us, to the histories that are here, the stories that are here, what connects us to the land and what connects that history to the land, I think is really, really important. So I am in Malkinstis, which is Treaty 7 territory. So I acknowledge the Blackfoot of Siksika, Kainai, and Piikani. I acknowledge the Sarsi Dene of Tsuut'ina, and the Stoney Nakoda of Morley, which includes Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Wesley First Nations. I am from Muskeg Lake Cree Nation, which is in Treaty 6 and kind of like the central issue-ish part of Saskatchewan. So I haven't been back home in a really long time, but I'm hoping to go back soon. I do miss connecting to that land and connecting to the family out there. And so just to welcome everyone into the circle, wherever they may be, I wanted to share the Cree welcome song. This song is from the Natahau family of Sturgeon Lake Cree Nation. And I'm always thankful and humbled whenever I share this song, because it's really been part of my journey. It really opens things up. It invites all of our ancestors in a good way. And we sing it a little bit differently than most songs, so we sing it in rounds of 3. Circle open and welcoming, so everyone completes the circle today. And so it really teaches us to come to the circle without judgment, to learn from each other, to grow together, to build community together in a meaningful way. And so it's a gift to be able to share it. And I always feel like my ancestors come. As soon as I sing this song, I always feel like they're with me, they're beside me, and they're supporting me in the journey of sharing. And so Miasin doesn't just mean welcome, although it does welcome in all the ancestors. It also means beautiful. I'm going to stand up to sing. Miasin, miasen, hasemina, hasemina, e pentakote, niwagomagan, hota, Homa Kitaskino Miasin Miasen Hasemina Hasemina Epetakote Niwagomagan Hota Homa Kitaskino Miasin Miasen Hasemina Haselina e pentakote niwagomagan. Hi, and welcome to the circle, everyone. Good for joining me. I'm sorry my chat's not working, so I can't really see anybody, but thank you for the comments if you are leaving some. I'm actually going to start with a smudge today, just because I think it's important to start in a good way. And I always feel so much better when I have a smudge. Whenever I'm really stressed out, I'll smudge and I'll be like, oh, life is better. There was one time that I didn't smudge for like a stretch of 3 days, and I was so grumpy, and I'm like, why am I so grumpy? And then I'm like, oh, I haven't smudged. And so I smudged, and it's like chocolate for your soul. So I felt so much better after that. And so I just wanted to honor the medicines that I have laid out here in the East. I have sweetgrass. Sorry, a little yawny today. And sweetgrass teaches us about honoring our mind. It teaches us about honoring fire. It teaches us about the East. Again, these are just my teachings, so if they make sense to you, awesome. If they don't, that's okay too. This is why we have oral traditions and oral storytelling. What's ever meant for us, we'll remember, and whatever's not, it won't take up space in our brain. And so you'll be comfortable to really learn what is necessary for you on your path. This is why I recommend learning from many different elders and knowledge keepers and knowledge holders, really, from many different nations, because you never know what's going to make sense and resonate with you. So I can just share what I know. And so mine in the East is sweetgrass, and that's that connection to fire, our connection to our childhood. And then we go to the south. Oh my goodness. Apparently I needed coffee today. So in the south we have our beautiful cedar. And cedar is that connection to our physical being, our physical body, our grounding. It teaches us to honor and respect the relationship that we have with the earth, the reciprocal relationship. So every time we breathe, it's that reminder of the relationship that we have with the earth, but also the relationship that we need to build with ourselves, and that strength that we need. And that comes from grounding and connecting to the earth. Walking in nature is healing for a reason. When we drink herbal teas to make ourselves feel better, it's that relationship that we honor with the teas, and what they offer to us and what we give back to them in thanks, in the way that we plant, in the way that we harvest. We have to remember that relationship every time we do that. Even something as simple as putting a tea bag in water, it's giving thanks for the water, it's giving thanks for that tea, it's giving thanks for the people who harvested it. But living in gratitude is a really big part of that. And so cedar is amazing in tea. I'm actually probably going to boil some tonight and just like inhale the vapors because it's really good for asthma. Oh, excuse me. Oh my goodness. I've been having a lot of asthma flare-ups lately. And again, my throat, I've been singing all day with littles, so it's a little sore. So a little cedar tea goes a long way. The next medicine that we have is our sage. Beautiful, beautiful sage. That's what we're going to be smudging with today. I'm just going to pull it off. And so sage is that women's medicine, so anybody can smudge with it at any time, and that's a Cree teaching, but other people might have the same teachings. But because it is the women's medicine, we can use it at any time. It is connected to our emotions, which is our heart medicine. It's connected to grandmother moon, so grandfather sun's in the east, grandmother moon's in the west. But it's really about honoring that relationship and the relationships that we have between other people. The relationship we have to our emotions, because our emotions help us to invest in people. And so this is the Cree Crunch, and this is the Blackfoot Roll. So we roll it up. And so once it's nice, oh, it smells amazing. I'm going to put that in the smudge bowl. Normally I have something underneath my smudge bowl. I have forgot my thing upstairs, so I'm going to put that there so it doesn't melt my desk. And so that's sweet sage in the west. And then the last medicine that we have is tobacco. Tobacco is our sacred medicine. It's our spirit medicine. Actually, I'm going to share the story of tobacco. Why not? And so the story of tobacco is when all of the animals and plants were getting gifts and were getting beautiful jobs to share with us, the two-leggeds. Creator was looking for something, a plant or an animal, to represent him, to represent sacrifice, to represent giving, and to represent prayer on earth. And so he went to all of the animals and all of the plants, and he said, I need someone to be able to represent these things on earth, to be able to teach the two-leggeds how to pray, to people to teach the two-leggeds how to give back of themselves. Which plants and which animal should do this? And so all of the animals started arguing about who was the best. So the otter's like, I do cute things with my hands. And the raccoon's like, I do cute things with my hands too. The cow is like, I'm really big. And then the buffalo is like, well, I'm bigger. And the bear's like, well, I'm bigger than both of you. And so they started arguing back and forth about who's the best. One of the animals was like, well, they get to eat me already, so why not pray with me? So the other animals are like, well, I get to swim, or I dive, or I can hold my breath the longest, or I can fly the highest. And so as all of the animals were arguing, then the plants started to argue, well, why can't a plant do it? A plant is sacred. We feed all of y'all, and we have all of these other gifts. And so they started arguing amongst themselves, like, who is the best plant to represent that, to represent prayer? And so some of the berries were like, well, we're sacred because we're berries and we give back and we have a lot of antioxidants, and so we're very good for people. And some of the other food were like, well, we taste the best, or we're the highest in nutrients, or we're the best for these medicines. And so they started arguing back and forth. The tree started arguing, well, I grow the tallest, well, I grow the fullest, well, I lose my leaves, well, I turn the most vibrant color when I lose my leaves. And then the evergreens were like, well, we never lose our leaves because we have pine needles. And then the cedar's like, well, I don't have either. I'm in between, so maybe I should be the one to represent prayer. And so as all of the plants were arguing, and the little tobacco, well, he was feeling pretty useless because he saw exactly how amazing and exactly how special each and every one of those plants were. Each and every one of those animals, how sacred and special they were. And he was amazed. And he couldn't even try and choose. But he didn't feel significant at all. He didn't feel special at all. And so he went to Creator and he said, Creator, I'm not better or worse than anyone else. I mean, actually, I just need a job. So all of the other plants and animals, they have wonderful purposes. The trees grow tall and strong and clean the air. Some of the plants have medicines. Some of the other plants have food. The animals, of course, they all have their different teachings. They have different ways to teach. But Creator, I'm kind of useless. I mean, the two-leggeds, they won't be able to eat me, they won't be able to smoke me, they won't be able to put me in a poultice like some of the other different kinds of plants. So, Creator, I need a job. I know I'm not better than anyone else, but I just really want to be of service. And Creator said, tobacco. You get it. You understand completely that you're not greater or less than anyone else. You understand that everyone has their place and their role to play. And you understand and respect everyone for that. You see the sacredness in all of the spirits of the plants and the animals. That sacredness that needs to be honored with the two-leggeds when they arrive. So yes, tobacco, you will be the representative of prayer. You will be the representative of connection to Creator, to me, when the two-leggeds arrive. And so that is how the tobacco became that sacred plant for us to pray with, for us to gift to each other, to say thank you from our spirit to their spirit, because it's a spirit plant. We say thank you to the earth when we take anything from the earth and we sprinkle the tobacco on the earth so that those plants grow back faster. And because it's high in phosphorus, potassium, and nitrogen, so it actually helps plants grow back faster. It also, because it's toxic to us, which in the story, it says, Creator, they can't smoke me, they can't drink me, they can't put me on their skin, I'm not good for them, I'm toxic. But because of that toxicity, it acts as a pesticide for the plants. When we sprinkle it after an animal passes, it actually breaks down. It has enzymes in it to help those bodies decompose a little bit faster, which is pretty amazing. And so tobacco has a lot of purposes as that spirit medicine to help us connect to the earth and help us to give back to the earth in a meaningful way. And it never asks for anything in return other than for us to keep planting those beautiful seeds which grow in abundance. One little tobacco plant will have thousands of seeds, so many seeds, and they're teeny tiny, so you blink and you miss them. You blow and like a whole barrage of seeds go everywhere. But that's why tobacco is so sacred and so special. Even a little piece can do so much for the world around it, but it's more of that intention that we put into that tobacco, not the plant itself, not the way that it's harvested. It's all of these different factors that go into it, but at the end of the day, it's the intention that you put behind that medicine. That's the most important and valuable part. I was, I've been teaching for a really long time, and I get gifted tobacco quite often, and I'm so thankful because that's a spiritual gift. It's saying thank you from somebody in spirit to my spirit. It's protocol because it's a gift. But one time I went to this event and they gave me this huge bucket of, big bucket of rolling tobacco, and I was like, wow, overcompensating for something? And they said, well, it's the best. I'm like, excuse me? They're like, well, it's the best. It was really expensive. There's a lot of it, so you enjoy that. I'm like, I don't think you know what tobacco is for. And they're like, oh, yes, we do. You enjoy that. I'm like, okay. So I said, thank you. And I'm holding this ginormous bucket of tobacco and I put it to the side and I start sharing my teachings and my songs, and my stories. And at this event, everyone's just making fun of them. They're making fun of my language. They're making fun of my teachings. They're making fun of the stories. And they're making fun of that traditional knowledge. And I was like, do you not understand that all of these teachings have survived genocide? We have survived genocide. My family, my friends, so many people in our communities have survived so much, and you're just diminishing it. And so that big bucket meant absolutely nothing. You could have had a barrel of tobacco and it still wouldn't have meant anything because there was no intention in it. There was no spirit in it. But then the next day, I was at Servants Anonymous and I was drumming and singing with all of these fabulous single women because I'm like, single moms, yeah! And as I'm drumming and singing with these wonderful women, you could see they're really enjoying it, but there's one woman off to the side and you could tell she was hurting. She was carrying a lot in her spirit, a lot in her heart. And so I was packing up all my drums and she came to me afterwards. She went outside for a smoke and she came back in and she held out her hand and she was shaking. And so I opened my hand and she put the tail end of a cigarette butt in my hand. And she's like, this is all the tobacco I have in the world. But my daughter has been missing for almost a year and we have no answers, no leads. And we just want some sort of closure. And so that little piece of tobacco, that little tail end of a cigarette butt, that had so much more love and intention in it than that huge bucket of tobacco. And it meant so much more to me. And so, of course, I brought that little piece down to the river and I was praying with it and I was drumming and I was singing and I was setting that intention. And unfortunately, they found her body 2 weeks later. These are stories that resonate within our community, and this is why it's important to set that intention and to really make those intentions known, but also to understand the true meaning and intention of tobacco. When a corporate event gives tobacco as protocol, if they're not doing it from a good place, well, then it doesn't mean anything. So really, before you say that, before you gift something, know why you're doing it. There's always has to be intention behind everything you do. It's not just cause, it's for a purpose, for a reason. And so that's really important to understand that. And so, sorry, I went on a little bit of a tangent before I even started smudging. Who knew? And oh, thank you so much. So this is our beautiful smudge bowl, and we have all 4 directions in the smudge bowl. The bowl itself represents water as it's holding us. The medicine, no matter what it is, as soon as we put it in the bowl, today we're only smudging with sage, that represents the earth because it grows from the earth. When we light it on fire, it represents fire. And then the smoke going up to create it represents air. And so there's all 4 directions. Now, normally I use matches. And the reason we use matches, we don't put a lighter directly on to the medicine, is because it disrespects the relationship that we have with the earth. It disrespects the relationship that we have with the medicine, because we're not entitled to the things in the lighter. We're not entitled to the plastic. We're not entitled to the butane. We're not entitled to the metal. And so, but if you're in a pinch, let's say you're in the middle of nowhere and all you have is a lighter because all of your matches are soaking wet, I will show you the proper way to do it. Because you don't want to put the lighter directly on the medicine because, again, it disrespects that relationship. But I have just taken all of the sage leaves off of the sage stem. So what you can do is you light the sage stem, if it'll stay lit. You light that sage stem, and that is what you light your medicine with. I think I moved too fast. Whee! Sage stem, burn, burn. There we go. There we go. There we are. Usually if you're outside, you can find like a stick or something. Whoops. Just to light it. And there we are. And so Again, there's no right or wrong way to smudge. And those are just my teachings around lighters and touching the lighter on the sacred medicine. Now, the sticks we're going to be giving back to the earth anyway, and I set that intention that I'm apologizing for using the lighter to begin with, but I know that's all I had on hand, and so I think that's really important to share those teachings. Even if you're just lighting something and then lighting the smudge, don't put that lighter directly on the smudge. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm cleaning my hands in it to let go and clean off any of the things I don't need. I'm bringing it over my body 4 times to honor the 4 directions in my body. I'm going to smudge my mind so I can think clearly and learn from every person that crosses my path, so I can remember to be open-minded and never rigid with my thinking. I'm going to smudge my ears so I can be open to hear all of the messages that Creator sends me. I always tell kids we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak, and to remember to stay open to hear the voices of everyone and everything around me, because everything in nature has a voice as well. The wind, the trees, everything, even the water, especially the water. The water's pretty loud. But also to be able to hear all of the messages that are sent. I honor my eyes, and I smudge my eyes so I can see beautiful things all around me, so I can see all of these beautiful gifts that surround us. Also, so I can remember to see the unseen, to see people truthfully for who they are, and to see the beauty in each and every person. I smudge my nose so I can smell danger and nature and cookies and good things. I smudge my mouth so I speak only true and kind words. I always ask myself, is it truthful? Is it helpful? Is it kind? If it's none of those things, don't say it, don't do it, because it's not worth it. Smudge my throat to give thanks for my voice this lifetime, so I can continue to give voice to the voiceless as an activist, but also so I can embody the voice of my ancestors. I've been gifted the name in Cree, my Mushum Gomni, she who sings and dances with spirits in a storm. In Old Cree, it's very short. In Long Cree, it is very, 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 very long. So I'm hoping to learn it in Old Cree so I can actually write it down in honor that my Mushum gave me. And then in Blackfoot, wonderful Blackfoot elder, Clarence Wolfley, gifted me the name Red Singer, because he said there's not a word for pink in Blackfoot. I honor my lungs, so I remember to breathe good clean air, to take good deep breaths, and honor the sacred breath that we all share. I smudge my heart, so I remember to hold those people in my heart with unconditional love, so I can share kindness and compassion with the world around me. Share it with my friends, my family. Remember that unconditional love for yourself, and all my relations, so that's everything and everyone around us. Smudge my stomach, so all of the food that I eat this day will nourish my body. To pray for abundance of those that don't have it around the world. Guinea pigs are making noise, sorry. I'm smuggling my belly button to honor our spirit. That's where we're connected before we come into this world. And so that's where our intuition and our spirit speaks through us and to us. That's also where our ancestors sometimes speak through us and to us. And so we always honor that wisdom that comes from our belly button. This is why it's called our gut instinct, our intuition, and it is never, ever, ever wrong. Ever. And smudge my shoulders and my back so I can carry all of my responsibilities in a good way with grace and humility. I smudge my arms and my hands so I can do the good work that Creator's put me here to do. I smudge my legs. So I walk this red road in a good way. That's the path of Aboriginal spirituality. And so that I walk with strength and with purpose. I smudge my feet. So I stay grounded and connected to Mother Earth, treading lightly upon her and honoring her with every step. And then if there's anywhere else in your body you need a little extra love, so I've been having a lot of grief with my hip again. So I've had 4 major hip surgeries, so I'm always smudging my hips. But for some reason my hip's been flaring up a bit lately, so I just want to make sure that it heals properly in a good way. Keep that movement going. And then also I'm going to smudge my foot on the other side because I've been favoring that one side and it's been messing with my other side. When you're off balance, one thing's going to hurt the other. Like, I'm old, I'm getting old. No, just kidding. And I'm also going to smudge my back. And then if there's anyone in your life that you want to send love, appreciation to, healing to, maybe they're going through a hard time, that could be emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, just honoring them for the healing that they need and sending them that love and intention. And then when you're all finished, you just bring that smoke to your heart again and you say thank you in your language, which might be hi hi or miigwech, merci, dankeschön, xie xie, arigato, masicho, in Blackfoot. But it's really important to say thank you for those medicines and for those teachings. And so, hi. Yeah, I think I'm going to have a sip. And then I'm actually going to share a song. So, the song that I'm going to share is, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on a song right now. I'm sure I can figure it out. I'll stand up and I'll see what comes. Oh, I think the one that's coming is my song. So this song is, it's the Ancestral Bird song, also known as the Blue Jay song, because the Blue Jay is my guide. Whenever I'm on the right path, I usually hear her and through the trees. But it's the Blue Jay is always so incredible. I didn't know the Blue Jay can actually change its voice, very much like the magpie does these little chatters. The Blue Jays do that too, but they can actually change their voice to mimic and talk to other birds, and to talk to them, to warn them of things, but also if a bird's nest gets abandoned, maybe the mother bird ends up losing her life, getting hit by a car or whatever, the Blue Jays will actually, they are such community caregivers that they actually go and they take care of other birds' young until that bird is of age, and they'll actually make the sounds of that bird so that the young will know who to look to and who to identify as far as their bird companions, their bird friends. And so it's really amazing that they actually do that. They make that extra effort, not only to take care of others around them, but also to help them integrate and help them feel like themselves. But yeah, this is probably why they're a very good guide for me, because I kind of do the same thing. But yes, this is the Ancestral Bird song. I haven't sung it in a while, but here we go. Way That's okay. Yeah, blue jays are pretty amazing. I love them. Actually, did you know they're not even really blue? They're actually brown, but the filaments on their wings make them appear to be blue. Pretty cool. It's kind of like the same effect that butterflies have, how they have that little shimmery, almost iridescent bit in them. They're not actually that particular color, but it's just that reflection of the light that actually makes them those colors. So I love nature. Nature is like the raddest thing in the world. It's so cool. So the next song that I want to share, and actually I want to share a little bit of a story before I share a song. So the story that I want to share is actually the story of the deer and how it was created. And so when I'm sharing the medicinal teachings around my drums, one of the hides that I use is the deer. And the deer, of course, it can jump the highest, but it also has a lot of that spiritual wisdom. And so we really honor the deer for those teachings that it guides us on. It teaches us to see the unseen. So we might not see the air, but we breathe, so we know it exists. It's like we might not see spirit, but we're here. So we know it exists. We can feel it. We can see it in life itself all around us. And so when we talk about creator, sometimes creator is just that energy, all of the energy of creation that draws us in, and that creates that world around us. That's truly what that is. And so the story behind the deer is when creator first made the world. We've been made a few times, but when creator first made the world, created a ball of water. That was all they could think of at the time. They're like, ball of water. That seems like a great idea. So there was this ball of water floating through space, and then creator's like, well, this is boring. Let's throw some fish in the mix. And so the fish started swimming around, checking things out, but the fish were curious, and they wondered what was above the water. And so they started to jump out of the water and touch the air, and then dive back down. And creator thought, wow, that's incredible. Why didn't I create an animal that's connected to the air? And so as some of the birds jumped out, they became the birds. And different birds were soaring all over the planet looking for places, but they were getting exhausted because there was no place for them to land. Some of them were almost falling out of the sky and drowning. And creator thought, ooh, we got to fix this situation before everything goes really bad. We need to create a place for them to land. We'll call it land. Of course, he asked the turtle, and the turtle was like, I will carry this. There's a longer story in a few of those stories. And creator was like, perfect. And so created land on the turtle's back. And so as the birds started touching down and taking off, touching down and taking off, in the four corners of the creator thought, wow, wouldn't it be amazing if I created an animal that was connected to the land and could jump to the air? And then as the birds touched down and took off, touched down and took off, some of the birds became the deer and the gazelle and the sheep and the goat and the kangaroo and all of those different animals that have been connected to spirit throughout the many places in the earth. In fact, a friend of mine from Kenya, she has the same creation story about the gazelle, and a friend of mine from Australia has the same origin story about the kangaroo, and she's Australian Aborigine. So it's really amazing how we have a lot of those similar stories all across the world, and those connections between those animals and that sacredness. And oftentimes those were the animals that were first used to make drums. And so when we have drums made out of deer, oftentimes those are spiritual drums. There are spirit guides. They're for meditation or for vision quests or for dream journeys or for Sundance in some cases. And so it's really just about finding your journey with whatever hide guides you. And so that's just the story that I know of the beautiful, beautiful deer. And so that being said, I think I'm going to share the creator song because I did share a little bit of a creation story. So the creator song was gifted to me by a friend of mine, Night Sun, Elizabeth, and I'm really, really thankful for that gift. We did a song exchange, and when she started to sing this song, I was like, I know this song. Why do I know this song? And it stuck right away. The first time I heard it, I was like, I know this song. And so I went to visit my great aunt. This was before she passed. Drumming and singing with her whenever I was able. And so I was drumming and singing this song for her, and all of a sudden she started to sing with me. And I was like, Auntie, how do you know this song? And she's like, how do you know this song? This is our family song. I haven't heard it for almost 40 years. And it just took my breath away. I started to cry. Even now, I tear up a little bit thinking about it. And she's like, you brought it home. And I think when you're on the right path, those teachings come home. That love and that healing comes home, and those songs and stories come home. And so this is the creator song. It's really about honoring everything in creation and knowing that everything has a journey, everything has a purpose, and everything is sacred in its own way. And so it's really about honoring that sacredness in everything around you and within you. So this is the creator song. Tearing up on that one. Oh my goodness. And so I'm going to share a little bit more, like what songs are in my head today. I'm actually going to share Wende Aho. So whenever that beautiful Chinook wind comes in, I know that a lot of people have a hard time with it, but we love the warmth, but we don't like the aches and pains that come with it. But we love the warmth. I know I certainly do. And it's really to just honor those winds. And so, Wende Aho, I learned it as the Four Winds song. It's also known as the Cherokee morning song because it greets the sun as it goes through those four directions. And it's really about honoring that journey that we take around the sun every single year, the journey that we have taken around the cosmos, but also to honor the sun itself for that life-giving power, to honor the wind for the way that we breathe and the way that it carries our hopes and our intentions, those seeds for new life. But it's really about honoring and connecting to the wind and to those four directions that really guide us in a good way. And so it was also brought forth, the Cherokee morning song is from Ulali and Robbie Robertson. And so I'm really thankful for them for bringing this song forward and for sharing it with the world. And I'm hoping to share my songs with the world soon. And so just need to find a time to actually get into the studio and record them, and then we can share them even more. And so this song, it's a gift to be able to share it. So this is the Four Winds song, or Wende Aho, the Cherokee morning song. Wende Aho, Wende Aho, actually going to sing the bear song. The bear song's been in my head. I've been sharing it with a few classes today at the school that I've been teaching at. I do it as a call and response with kids because then they can learn it a little bit better. I teach the stories behind them, which some of the stories that I share is the story of the bear and courage and how it hibernates because it gets so tired from helping everybody out throughout the year. Another part of the story that I share is the story of how the bear teaches us. They teach us what to eat, when to eat it. They teach us how to get ready for the winter. They teach us about patience, but they also teach us how to be ourselves. That takes a lot of courage as well. And then the other story that I share is the blood and gut story, as kids love it. It's about the Polaris and how in the fall it was like the big great bear, and he was just devouring the whole world. He was eating everything. He was just making a hot mess, and he was just taking and taking and taking without honoring anything around him. And the animals are like, he needs to be stopped. And so 7 birds chased him, and it ended up being the robin who mortally wounded him at first and got blood all over her chest and was thrown to the ground. And to honor the robin for slowing that bear down, Creator gave it the stars in its egg, the cosmos. So that's why the robin's egg looks like that. But then the cardinal actually sacrificed itself by flying straight into the bear's heart, and piercing it so deeply that when the cardinal flew out, he was coated in the bear's blood, and the bear, to escape and so that he could live forever, he climbed his way up into the cosmos. But before he got into the sky, he was part of the way there, and he shook himself off, kind of like a dog shakes off all of that wet of his fur, and so all of his blood went all over the broad-leafed plants, made them really heavy. And this is why in the fall all of the leaves, they turn colors and then they get heavy and fall to the ground because of that great bear. And that's that reminder to the great bear that he can never come back to the earth, because there are birds and there are other things that will stop him if he tries to devour the earth again. And it's also a warning to the other bears, don't be that guy, go to bed. So there's a few different stories about the bear, and I just love how all of them are really beautiful and they're really poetic in their different ways of teaching how the bear shares its knowledge and its wisdom and that ability to rest in the winter, which is such a key and essential part of what we need to do. And so, yeah, this is the Anishinaabe Bear Song, and I do the community version. There's actually a few different versions. There's a sacred one which has a few extra words in it. Some of it is a little bit shorter, some is longer, but everyone has their different way of sharing it, and that's what I think makes this song beautiful, because it's been around for so many years, and it has just so many different teachings behind it. So this is the bear song, and it always makes me think of my son when he was really little. our people. So that's a little bit of a teaching. I don't know what keeps beeping. So we have a mystery beep in our house. It has been happening for the last 3 weeks, and we have no idea where it's coming from, and it's really weird and unsettling. And so, sorry, I diverge. I get very distracted. So the next song that I kind of wanted to share, I don't know, it's left me. I know that my fabulous sister probably will be listening to this with her wee one later, and so I'm going to share the Strong Woman song to honor her. And so, Stephanie, love you, and hey, babies, love you too. Yeah, I'm just really, really thankful and humbled for this song, which the Strong Woman song is an Oji Cree song, so it's Anishinaabe as well as Cree, and it was originally known as the Turtle song, because the turtle represents our beautiful Turtle Island. It represents Mother Earth, of course, but it also represents the moons. So it has 28 ridges along the outside to represent the 28 days in a moon cycle, and it has the 13 bumps to represent the 13 moons in a year. So it's that reminder of that sacredness of the woman, because we have the same thing within us. And so it's turned naturally into the Strong Woman song, and it really became an anthem for murdered or missing Indigenous women. It was also brought into a prison as part of a recidivism program, to connect women to their culture, to their history, to who they were, and to really instill pride in who they were as Indigenous women. Because unfortunately, when women go to jail, oftentimes it's because they're escaping abusive situations, or because they've grown up in an environment where it hasn't been healthy, or perhaps they just lose everything. They lose their sense of self, they lose their sense of belonging, they lose their loved ones, their friends, their family, and their sense of really who they are. And so this program was brought in to rehabilitate and give pride to who they were as Indigenous women. And of all the women that were involved in the program, this really became their theme song. And when they left the program, 98% never reoffended, like ever, which is pretty crazy. That's a huge recidivism rate. And so I think we need to do that more often. We have to look at that Indigenous way of knowing, that Indigenous way of healing, that Indigenous way of forgiving, and of true reconciliation. I think that's where it starts. It starts within each and every one of us, and it starts with the way that we treat each other. And so, yeah, this is the Strong Woman song to teach us about all of those fabulous strong women behind us, our ancestors, our grandmothers, our aunties, our sisters, that feminine spirit within each and every one of us as well. We have those two spirit people who are embodying that sacred masculine and that sacred feminine, and so we honor that balance as well. And so this is the Strong Woman song. And so I'd like to say thank you and good night to everyone. And yeah, I just really appreciate being back, even though my voice isn't 100%. It's starting to come back. It's almost there. It's almost there. It's like so close. I'm still a little squeaky, especially when I'm trying to let out my voice. I'm a little squeaky. But I'm thankful for lots of tea and lots of really wonderful honey from one of my neighbors, which is really awesome. They have a honey farm called More Honey, and I definitely need some more honey because I've been going through a lot. MOER, which is so cute. I just love puns. It's like my favorite thing. And so yeah, this song really teaches us to just say goodbye, but not goodbye, because we don't have a word for goodbye in a lot of our languages, but it's like thank you, see you soon, see you on your journey, yeah, and just really, really thankful for this song to have come back into my life. I had originally learned this song from my elder Sharon Prue Turner, who I miss every single day. There's moments whenever I doubt myself, I just hear her words in my heart and in my mind, and then I just take a deep breath and I just continue on my path that creator's kind of set for me, and I just don't let anything else bug me, and I just be of service. I think that's such a huge thing, just to be of service. But she shared this song and I thought I would never hear it again after she passed because it just disappeared. I couldn't remember it. And then I was doing a theater thing. Who knew? I was a liaison for the High Performance Rodeo, and the show, and they needed elders, and they also wanted to do a workshop, and then they're like, for the show they sang a song at the end, and they were like, can you help us sing, because you're a singer and a drummer? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And then they started singing the song and I started bawling, and they're like, are you okay? And I'm like, I know this song. And so I was just so thankful that it came back in that way. And it was funny because it was almost like Sharon was with us the whole weekend, even when we were doing, we were looking at pictures for storytelling. And there was this picture and it looked like her. It was that beautiful white hair and this beautiful, beautiful blue robe, and with all of these colors, and it reminded me so much of her. And then there was a young girl, and she was like, oh, it reminds me of Sharon. And I was like, that's where I know you from. I was in that lodge with you when you first came into the lodge. And she was like, oh, I remember you. And so we connected over Sharon. But then when that song came, it was just like full circle. And so I am so humbled and thankful whenever those teachings come back, and whenever it shows that our ancestors and our elders and our family and friends that are beyond are still with us, and so yeah, this is the traveling song. If I can stop crying. Or if I can get it in my head. Oh, I have a different song in my head. Apparently I'm supposed to sing something else. So this is the Journey song. Which is the thank you, I love you, and enjoy your journey. And this is a song that came through me one time when I was in a hospital, of all places. Takahito into your family. Sakahito into your friends. Sakahito into your journey until we meet again. Way-ya, hey, way-ya, hey-ya. Way-ya, hey, way-ya, ho. Ah, hey-ya, hey, like a heat the wind to our friends. It's like a heat the wind to my journey until we meet again. So hi everyone, Mugwitch. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you all next week. So much love. Thank you for coming back. It's been a long while. The holidays I think took a lot out of all of us, and sorry I was late today, but next week on time for sure. Who am I kidding? I'm Korea. I'm usually late. So lots of love. Have a wonderful week. Have a beautiful new year. Happy, happy, happy new year. We also have the Chinese New Year that's going to be coming up too, and that's a shift into the year of the rabbit. So things are going to move a lot faster, but with a lot more joy. So that's a beautiful thing. A lot more luck. So that's an awesome thing. So start buying your lottery tickets now. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But hi everyone. I'm a Gwitch.